We're recording.
Are we recording with much?
Yeah.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Real Talk podcast. This is episode 30.
I know. It's so weird. This is so cool.
I am Jacob.
I'm Jared.
Let's do this. Alright, so I actually have the notebook on camera today, because I'm a Slytherin. Slytherins are the best. I actually have it because there's a couple things that happened this week that I really want to have a small rant about.
Yeah.
So it's up to you whether or not we start with the ranting and then move on to the fun stuff. Or
Start with the ranting.
let's start with the ranting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really aggressive.
It's annoyed me. So there's two things this week that have annoyed me, and one is an ongoing sort of argument that seems to be happening around Hollywood. So I think we'll start with that one. So a couple of weeks ago, most of you will probably remember that Martin Scorsese came out and said that Marvel movies were not cinema. I think we covered it a little bit in the podcast before.
Yeah.
And we know we've talked about this extensively outside of like Real Talk stuff as well. Well, Francis Ford Coppola, the director, producer, all-around cinematic genius, he came out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he described the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, basically, they asked him his opinion on like what Martin Scorsese said. He agreed with him and then went as far as to say that Marvel movies were despicable.
Wow.
Direct quote, Marvel movies are despicable.
Did he give a reason why?
Not a good one.
Why would he say?
He basically, he didn't want to, I think he didn't want to go fully into it, but like, you can't go around saying shit like that.
No, you can't.
Like, just because it's not the kind of movie that you would like to make, you can't then trash that movie as being just despicable is a strong word.
Yeah.
Hitler was despicable. Like, I'm just...
Wow. Whoa. I mean, like, then they're not despicable.
No, they're
bring
great.
People,
I think
they make people happy.
They have altered the way cinema and like people view movies forever. There is no denying that. Like superhero movies, Marvel movies in particular, have completely changed Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, because it's gone from like superhero movies being what like B-grade actors and like up-and-comers do to get well known, and now it's like it's where you want to be. Like,
oh yeah,
but I don't think that's.
But the thing is, like, the only I don't understand. I get why they say it, because they're not like, it's not like, in their eyes it's not cinema. To them, cinema is like was like three billboards outside of Missouri, or what was it? It was Don't Worry, He Won't Go Far on Foot. Like, indie movies that come out, like Oscar movies that come out before, like A24 films. There's like they're gritty and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. Like, that's what they perceive cinema to be. Yeah, but for most people, I like those movies. But I don't like I probably, if I had to choose, I'd probably go see an Avengers movie. I'd probably go see a fun superhero movie that I can relax and watch.
I think that is the problem. I think that's what's causing this sort of outrage from like previously well-known directors and like super famous.
Yeah.
Like established and like well-respected directors and producers and people in the film industry are now bashing Marvel movies because people would rather go and watch those. But the solution to that is make better movies.
Well, yeah, well,
it's like you can't blame people for going to watch movies that they know that even the worst ones are better than some of the other stuff that comes out. Like, I'm not saying that these indie movies are bad by any means.
No,
it's just
not.
like, if you've got the choice between a movie that might be really good and a movie that will be really good, you're going to go and watch the one that is definitely going to be really good. Because why wouldn't you? Like, not going to do that would be foolish.
Yeah. I mean, like, Ride Like a Girl, for example. I haven't seen that one yet, but apparently it's really good.
Yeah, like, keen to watch it.
Yeah, I will go watch it, but if I had the choice to go see that or go see... though there's no superhero movies coming out now, but like, I'm going to use Zombieland, for example. Zombieland, for example, I will probably go see that one because I can switch off. I can go watch it switch off for a little bit, grab my popcorn, and I can just relax. I feel like if I go watch a movie like that, I really need to be invested in watching the movie, which isn't a bad thing, but a lot of people just want to go to the movies and just relax. Like, a lot of people just want to go and...
Yeah, you do have to be in like a specific mood to go and watch a serious, like an intense like drama or like character piece. Like the Joker. Like, it was a great film.
Yeah.
It is, like, don't get me wrong, fantastic film.
Yeah.
We went into it in depth last week.
Yeah.
But it does take it out of you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because intense pieces like that do. If you're required to sit there and think and, like, work stuff out and, like, be emotionally invested, then, yeah. So you are more likely to go and see something that is more fun and, like, a spectacle.
Yeah.
But you don't have to focus really too hard.
Yeah.
But for these people to be coming out and blaming Marvel for, like, the change, I mean, it is... Like, yeah, Marvel is responsible for the change in Hollywood and the way cinema is viewed and superheroes are moved, but that's not a bad thing. That's like Alfred Hitchcock coming out 30 years ago and then deciding then that Star Wars was despicable or that Quentin Tarantino movies were despicable. So you can't say... Because in 20 years, we're going to be looking at this going, that is exactly the reason cinema is the way it is. And it will be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, it has... Like, there are downsides, obviously. Like, it spawned everything at the moment. Every movie studio wants to have their interweaving, expanded universe. And it hasn't worked on the scale that Marvel has worked on.
No, like, Marvel has...
Except maybe Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, that's another rant coming up in a second. But Marvel has really hit, like, really nailed the coffin. Like, really hammered the nail into the coffin when it comes to expanding their universe. People have grown up with this stuff. Like, people love, like, these characters, and I think Endgame was a good example of that, because it was just building up to a point, and then people get to see the payoff for it. But then again, it was also a spectacle, and it was fun. People went to go watch that, and I think the reason why these people, like, why these directors and all, like, writers and all that kind of stuff of indie movies and Oscar nominated films are coming out and saying that it's not cinema, it's despicable. I think it's just a way of trying to keep up with the competition.
Yeah, but you shouldn't...
But you shouldn't be
keeping up with competition by trying to drag the competition down to your level.
Yeah.
Make better movies.
Yeah.
Do something different. That's why Marvel got popular, because it did something that hadn't been done before.
Yeah.
And it's working, so they're going to keep doing it. That's why people go and watch these movies. If you want to catch up to that, you're going to have to change the way you do stuff. Not try and convince people that the way that Marvel's doing things is bad.
Yeah. And the only thing that they'll get from bagging movies or bagging Marvel or bagging these superhero movies that a lot of people love is they're just going to... Like, I know everybody says, like, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yes,
but
there is.
There is. And
because
if you keep on doing that, you're going to make yourself as in, like, this, I think I'm better than these people.
Yeah, if you keep saying shit like that, then you're going to get people like us who will talk shit about you on the internet. Like, it's just one of those things. And, like, but, look, there's nothing we can do about it. Like, even, like, people have asked Robert Downey Jr., and he just goes, look, I don't know why they would say those things, but, you know... Yeah. What's the point? Like, there's no point getting angry at them because they're not going to change their opinions. And it's not going to, like, realistically, them saying that shit is not going to change the way Marvel does stuff. No. The executives at Marvel are just going to go back into their back room and they're going to roll around in the piles of money that they don't have.
Yeah, fair.
Like, but bashing movies this week doesn't seem to be coming just from other directors. It seems to be coming from fans.
Yeah. And you'd think that'd be the last place that they'd be coming from.
Unless, of course, you're talking about Star Wars fans. You are the worst group of people ever. Yeah. And I count myself as one of them. Like, there are two sides to Star Wars fans. There's the side that we like to fall on, where even if a movie is not as 100% as good as we thought it was, we will sit there and we will enjoy it because it's freaking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I just like I will consume all Star Wars media because I enjoy Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then you get these assholes
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
so like they're creating a problem where there is no problem. I don't understand it. Just enjoy it. It's a Star Wars movie. We only get these like once a year, or we only
get them once every we only get an episode every
2
years, 3 times a decade. So just calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is there's this big movement that started up it's been building for a while, but like it really hit into swing with the announcement of the final trailer coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Mm.
To boycott episode 9. Now, the only reason there seems to be this movement, I feel like there's been a boycott movement for every episode since episode 7 got announced.
Yeah.
But the reason they seem to be going for this boycott Star Wars thing is that they just didn't like Last Jedi. That was it.
Okay, and I said that when you told me this the other day, and I still feel it now, it's like, so the reason why these people want to boycott the movie is because they didn't like a certain thing, or they put it up, they put a make-believe story up on a pedestal, and because they didn't like how it turned out, they want to ruin the fun for everybody else who actually did enjoy it, including us.
Yeah.
You guys can go fuck yourselves. You're not fans. It's like, if you don't like something and trying to ruin it for everybody else who did enjoy it, fuck off. Let us enjoy it.
Like, it's just, it's one of those things. Is like a lot of fan theories, like probably more than any Star Wars has really gone into, went into Last Jedi. Like a lot of everyone was talking. We were talking about it.
Mm.
Like we've sat there for hours every day, just like contemplating, like what could happen in The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
and it didn't go the way anyone was expecting. They did, and like don't get me wrong, there's some stuff that's wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean it's not a perfect movie.
I feel like a lot of people have sort of missed the point with some of that stuff as well. It's like the Batman vs Superman thing where everyone was like, it wasn't perfect, but everyone got hooked on a couple of things that were like, oh, that's a major problem, and you're like, oh, actually it's not. You're just sort of thinking about it wrong.
Mm.
So it's like, I don't want to go too much into like The Last Jedi and stuff, but like people watched The Force Awakens,
right,
and they got the shits with they thought they were forcing a sort of a Rey-Finn love story throughout it.
Mm.
So they listened and they removed the love story and just had it as like an intense friendship, and they added like another character.
Yeah.
And then people decided they didn't like that either, so they were going to bash that.
Yeah. Quite verbally.
Like verbally.
Yeah.
And like really like horrible shit.
Yeah.
And like there are stuff in there, like people go, oh, the whole thing on like Canto Bight in the casino.
Yeah.
It doesn't amount to anything because it doesn't affect the end result. Like it doesn't affect the end result, but it kind of does because the whole thing it's Finn's story arc.
Mm.
From like it's about it's literally just he starts The Last Jedi off as it doesn't matter what happens to the rebellion or the resistance as long as he can go and save his friend.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, he realizes that the problem is more universal.
Mm.
Like it, and so he tries to sacrifice himself. And like maybe that bit where she stops him is a little bit cheesy, but the point of that was not. The point of Canto Bight was not to save the resistance. The point of it was to change Finn's opinion.
Yeah.
Like the point, so everyone's like, they go to Canto Bight to get the hacker, and then they get the hacker, and then they don't succeed anyway. It's like, that wasn't the point of that bit. The point is character development.
And also, like, what I got from that, and I think, and I actually really did like that part in Canto Bight, because it also did show that in Star Wars, it's like, during this war, it's like there's more than just good and bad. There's more than just like the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah, it's not the First Order versus the Resistance. There are grey areas to all good and evil.
It's like people supply guns and ammunition and ships to the Resistance, and those same people will supply the same stuff to the First Order.
Yeah,
it's like at the end of the day, it all comes down to like the powerful and the money in the galaxy that's funding this war. Yeah, and like I like that. It just kind of brings it down. It brings it down to ground level with with a make-believe story like Star Wars, which is so fantastical, and it brings it down to something that, like, this is what war kind of comes down to. It comes down to, yes, opinions, but it also comes down to who will fund the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting this stuff out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, the point, it's to show, it's world building, or in this case, galaxy building.
Yeah.
But it shows that, like, it's not just the First Order. It's not the dark side versus the light side. There is a gray area in the middle where people are making money off of this. Like,
yeah.
Like, there is still, outside of the magic space wizards, there is still bad shit going on.
Yeah.
And it was just point, and like the fact that, because you either miss the point or don't agree with the point, like, if you don't agree with our opinions on it, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's the joy of having an opinion. But don't knock a movie that hasn't come out yet, because people were saying exactly the same shit about Empire Strikes Back, and most Star Wars fans agree that it's the best one now. But when it came out, it was described as a overproduced, like, black and white, like, money grab sequel. That's, like, people would, like, it was released,
really?
Empire Strikes Back, and all of the reviews were, like, it lost all of the fun in the originality of the first one. It's got nothing new in it. It's overproduced. Like, it's a sequel grab. Like, it just sets up it's just there to set up the last one. Like,
no.
And here we are 30 years later, and we're going, Empire Strikes Back is the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. And literally, what makes it the greatest, like, it's a good standalone film. What makes it great is the fact that it leads into Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I said that when Last Jedi came out, that the only way that you can fairly judge that movie is by waiting until episode 9. Because Star Wars movies are standalones.
Yeah.
But they are also the beginning, the middle, and the end of a trilogy.
Yeah.
So The Last Jedi was never going to be perfect because it is a middle story. It doesn't start anywhere. It doesn't have a start because the start of that story is in The Force Awakens, and it doesn't end anywhere because it doesn't end until the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So you are basically judging a movie by the middle part of its story alone. And you just can't do that.
No.
Like, the effect of, like, Darth Vader cutting off Luke's hand and saying, "I am your father," doesn't really have any pull until you find out how Darth Vader reacts at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, true.
Like, the whole Han getting frozen in carbonite has no weight unless you know that it leads to them going to Tatooine to rescue him from Jabba.
Yeah.
Like, all of that stuff is dependent on how it ends up. And you can't watch Empire Strikes Back seeing these things without knowing where it leads now.
Yeah.
And I think people have forgotten that.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of boils down at the end of the day is that you just got to take a step back. Like, if you're getting really worked up about Star Wars, about, like, if you think, like, you wanted to reach this thing, or if you want people to just boycott a movie because you didn't like the last one, pull your head in. It's just a movie. Relax and enjoy it. It's a movie.
Look, if Last Jedi has ruined Star Wars to you so much that you're not going to go and watch Rise of Skywalker, don't watch Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That's fine. It doesn't affect me. But I don't want to spend the next 2 months, every time I go online, having somebody sat there bashing what is my favorite franchise of all time. Like, I mean, we grew up on this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, our parents grew up on this stuff.
Yeah.
This movie isn't just...
Half of our house is filled with this stuff.
Like, there's lightsabers behind you, there's Star Wars pop vinyls, there's books here, there's movies, there's games, there's an X-Wing there. Like, it's just... this movie is more than just a movie. Like, it's a talking point. It's like it's been around for so long. It's been around since 1977.
Jesus.
Like, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's been out for a long time.
The franchise is 42 years old or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's an old franchise.
Yeah.
And it's not just our generation. Like, it's like this movie has affected and is a part of 3 generations of my family. Like,
Yeah.
Like, my parents love this movie. Like, I talk to them about Star Wars all the time. I was like, we love it. My brother loves it. Like, my 7-year-old niece has been watching Star Wars since she was like 5. Like, this thing is like, it's just, and because you didn't like one movie, you want to ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But like, you don't need to go online
and start
trying to ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah, because a lot of people, and I do hate that Last Jedi. We will have to get off this because we're going to spend the rest of the podcast talking about it.
Yeah,
because, like, but like, I do hate that the Last Jedi has split the fan base down the middle. Yeah. It's almost set like a civil war between fans.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's a cool thing to say, but also it's kind of tearing the franchise apart, which kind of sucks. And I hate the fact that, like, I don't know, I feel like it's going nowhere. But basically what I'm getting to is pull your head in, it's a movie, relax.
Yeah. So just before we move off that to something still kind of Star Wars related, but yeah, a little bit happier.
Yeah.
When Last Jedi finished, there was a petition. I think you might remember, to have Last Jedi removed from canon and like remade and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd just like to point out to those people who are still sort of going on about that, if you have the Last Jedi removed from canon, that is Carrie Fisher's last performance. You're a bad person. Like, straight, you're a terrible, terrible, terrible person.
Yeah.
Go to hell.
Oh shit. We're not pulling any punches today, are we?
No, it really put me in a bad mood. Anyway, sticking on the Star Wars note, so the last trailer for Rise of Skywalker comes out tomorrow.
Yes. Is it tomorrow here?
It's tomorrow here, Sydney, AEST. So it'll be tomorrow morning, because it's during the USA's Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So the final trailer is going to drop then. I believe at the same time the trailer drops, tickets go on sale.
Sick.
So we're getting ours. Obviously, we'll be at midnight release because it would be ridiculous not to be.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and find some Stormtrooper helmets so that I can take. I'm gonna try and buy some Stormtrooper helmets so that we can wear them in.
When we buy the tickets, we'll sort of let you all know where we're gonna be. If you want to come say hi, come say hi. We'd love to talk about Star Wars. We're in a pretty good mood. I imagine we'll go for several beers beforehand.
Yeah.
And then maybe afterwards.
Yeah. And grab like a stein.
A stein.
Yeah.
So it should be good. Just stay tuned for that. We'll definitely have our tickets. We'll definitely be going. We will make it work.
Yeah.
And then we'll just let everyone know where we're going to be. Come say hi. We love talking to people.
Actually, I just kind of had a thought. After the trailer comes out, do you want to do a trailer breakdown?
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on a little, like a big Star Wars conversation, different setting that none of this stuff will be here. Maybe we'll do it on the big table. Yeah, we could probably do it here, that will work. Anyway, so we're working on doing like a big, it might be 4, maybe 5 people, depending on who we're going to get. We're going to do a big like Star Wars discussion, what we're expecting, trailer breakdowns, what we've liked. I think we did a Marvel one, so we'll do sort of similar, like our favourite characters so far, what we'd like to see from some of the spin-offs coming up.
I'm looking forward to that one, because the last one we did was the
Marvel one, which like the quality was pretty good. The mics we had were pretty awful at the time. So we've got sets and we've got cameras, and it'll be a big thing. I think your brother's going to come on.
Yes.
My brother's going to come on. We might have 1 or 2 people more than that. Yeah. Maybe we'll try and sort of keep it a reasonable thing. But we'll do like an hour and a half, like 2 hour long show, based on Star Wars. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be about a month's time.
Yeah.
Then beginning in December, end of November, sort of like 2 or 3 weeks before Star Wars comes out, we'll do a big breakdown of that. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know more. Well, it's comic book stuff. More comic book stuff, because a lot of comic book stuff will come out this week. I did see a thing this morning that I kind of wanted to talk to you about, and we sort of touched on it while we were having breakfast. Apparently Marvel is of 2 ways, like discussing or debating whether or not for Thor: Love and Thunder, whether Bro Thor should return or whether he should have returned to his regular Thor. I'm of the opinion that we need Bro Thor in some regard.
Yeah.
Like, we need to see him, because Endgame really touched on this sort of, like, PTSD and the fact that, like, these things don't get fixed overnight.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that he's going to have to overcome, because obviously losing to Thanos with the snap, like, ruined Thor. Like, you've all seen Endgame, I assume. Like, it ruined Thor.
Yeah.
Which is something we've never really seen before. Like, a superhero didn't just lose; he lost everything.
Yeah.
Like
his family is
he had
gone.
a
His
full
home
breakdown.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Thor probably got it. I wouldn't say the worst, but I say he got the worst. His entire family died. His home was blown up. And
half of his people were destroyed.
And
then when he went,
and then they were refugees on a different planet. And on top of that, he was a king that was really an unqualified king to look after half of his people.
Yeah, and then when he thought he could get, or like when he could avenge his all of his loss, he lost because of one mistake. Yeah. Really.
Well, he made a mistake in anger, and I think that's what really kind of drove him to it. And then, after him killing him in the heart.
There's a scene in Endgame that doesn't get enough credit. It's the scene when they go back to Asgard to get the ether.
Yeah.
And he's talking to his mum, and he has this conversation, and Rocket comes in, he's like, "Oh, we've got to go," and he goes, and he goes,
yeah, and he grabs.
Oh. And he just looks surprised, and he's like, oh, "I'm still worthy."
Yeah.
That is a huge moment, because that is him. He believes that because of that mistake, he's not worthy.
Yeah.
That is and it's one of those things that gets missed unless you're really watching it or you've watched it a couple of times, because they don't mention that he never says out loud, it's like, "Oh, I don't think I'm worthy anymore. I'm not worthy of the hammer." And because he can't test it because the hammer is gone in his timeline.
Yeah.
And the Stormbreaker doesn't have the Odin's spell on it to make that you can only wield it if you're worthy.
Yeah.
Him grabbing that hammer, it just reassures him that he's still Thor.
Yeah.
And I do actually truly believe that if that had not happened, from a character perspective, if he'd not been able to pull the hammer, I don't think he would have faced Thanos again in that final fight.
Yeah, no. That was a really significant point for that character. It showing him as everybody makes mistakes, even in this.
Even a god.
Even a god can make mistakes, or it's even what his mother said, because he's been struggling, because he's always known he was going to be king.
Yeah.
But at that point, you realize is that even what he even wants to do? And then his mother, his dead mother, reassuring him is you can be whatever you want to be. It's everybody fails at what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, you've just got to find out what you are,
yeah,
and you've got to go and be that. And that's what I think we need more of that, especially not the whole way through the movie, but I'd say the first half.
Yeah,
it's important. I think that you need to see him working out or doing stuff like that, and actively trying to better himself and bring himself back to being Thor. If he goes from being Bro Thor to just regular Thor, it loses weight. It loses the weight. You need him to have the weight in order to lose the weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel it's important that we see the progression and we see Thor start to overcome things like that.
Yeah.
And that'll also, that's a good way of tying in Jane Foster getting the hammer.
Yeah.
Him struggling to sort of, bring himself, and then realizing that he doesn't have to do everything himself.
Yeah.
And that he needs help. I'm sure that her picking up the hammer for the first time will be a fluke. She'll not realize that she could do it. And she'll pick up the hammer and he'll do that.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they've announced who the villain's going to be, but I would imagine that if...
Do you think Adam Warlock could be the villain?
Maybe. I think it's more likely to turn up in Guardians
3
as the villain. But yeah, I think that she'll pick up the hammer, realize that she could be Lady Thor or whatever. And then the end, when he gets to the final fight, he'll realize that he doesn't have to do it by himself, and he'll give her that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true.
Because also, like, they're gonna have to reforge the hammer.
Yeah. Actually, I wonder if they'll bring Nidavellir back into the picture.
I hope so. Like, Gendry's still there, so
yeah.
Would make
but
sense.
then he's the last of his kind. Like, he's the last elf.
So far
So
that we know of.
Yeah, true. But then, like, when Thanos killed them all, he had no intention of leaving half of them. He just had the intention of, I want you to build this for me, and then I'm going to.
And then he wanted nobody else to be able to get a weapon.
Yes, pretty much.
Which is it. But there might be some scattered around. You never know.
Yeah, true.
It's a giant universe. So literally, you can do whatever they want.
I would. Yeah, I just want to see more of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Of what's the character's name? For the longest amount of time, I was calling him Gendry. I was calling him Petrie for a while.
Like a petri dish.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the answer, Marvel, if you're watching this, which is super unlikely, yes, you need Brothor back. Like we as viewers need to see the progression from depressed to working through it.
Yeah.
Like once you're depressed, you never stop really being depressed. You only have good days and bad days. But we need to see the character work through that.
Yeah.
Let's not stay on that super depressing subject. The other thing is a little bit of a like for those of you at home, I've written in my notebook, Jared Leto, little bitch.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So Jared Leto came out this week, and this week sort of it's just sort of come to light that he actively tried to stop the Joker movie from being made, which is a super petty thing to do. I was saying when I first brought it up to you a couple of days ago that kind of has a point.
Well, he does and he doesn't.
The facts are that when he was hired as the Joker for Suicide Squad, he was promised a spot in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
A spot in the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad 2.
Yep.
And a solo Joker movie. But I don't think he was contracted for that. I think it was like if you sign this contract and this movie does well, you will get X and X. And
right.
It didn't. I mean, I enjoyed it. I prefer the director's cut because that means Warner Brothers didn't bugger it up. Looking at you, Warner Brothers. And he basically threw a tantrum and tried to stop Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie from getting made, which I actually think is the best movie of the year.
Best movie of the year so far for me. I have to admit with that one. That one's pretty good.
Like, from a storytelling, filmmaking standpoint, The Joker is the best movie of the year.
Yeah,
like my most enjoyed movie of the year so far is Endgame by far.
Yeah.
Endgame was so good. Star Wars will struggle to top it.
Yeah, true.
Which I never thought I would say.
For Jared Leto to come out and try and stop Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie to being made, he doesn't really have the right to do that. But then again, he was contracted by Warner Bros. Oh, I don't know if he was or if he wasn't. I haven't read the facts. I haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into it with like great detail. I only found out about it the other day. But if you are promised X amount of stuff, then he was hired to do a job. He did his job to the best of his ability. Yeah, granted, no one really liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
Wasn't the best Joker. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Wasn't a huge fan of that. I thought that was kind of stupid.
It was kind of stupid. Yeah.
But and also like,
why did the Joker have grills?
Well, I want to go into a little bit of a tangent. So apparently, I think this is fan theory for the Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah.
So the reason why he has grills and the reason why he has the smile tattooed on his hand is because Batman
knocked his teeth out.
Like pretty much beat him to a pulp and knocked all of his teeth out. And that's why he has the grill, and that's why he has the smile tattooed on his hand. So that's why he does that. Then show us that.
Yeah, I think that the issue with having a Joker that is that different and that sort of weird and sort of off what we're used to, as a result of a history that we haven't seen, is that we haven't seen it. Like that it's not an earned change.
Yeah.
Whereas if they'd had a movie, I mean, okay. Right. We talked about this the other night. I fixed the DC expanded universe.
Yeah.
Just by really changing the order of films.
Yeah.
Because so they did Superman, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman, the Justice League, then Aquaman.
Yeah.
That was dumb as shit.
Yeah.
So what they should have done was they should have done Superman, Wonder Woman, the Batman, Aquaman, maybe done a Flash movie. Well, probably done the Flash movie that they're talking about. Then you do Justice League, like part 1, where you do sort of Steppenwolf and you do better CGI, a better story, and Superman's not dead yet. Yeah. Or you have him die at the end of Superman, at the end of the Justice League. Have him sacrifice himself to defeat Steppenwolf.
Yeah, and not Abomination, or whatever its name is. Doomsday.
Doomsday, yeah. So you do that, and then afterwards, you do another Batman movie. Do Red Hood. And then you do Wonder Woman 2, because Justice League would be used to introduce Cyborg. You could do your solo Cyborg movie, or you do a Teen Titans movie. Do Nightwing.
Yeah. But you just want to see Nightwing.
I do want to see Nightwing. Nightwing's my favourite Batman character, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And then so you do Batman, and then you do Wonder Woman, do Cyborg, you maybe do another Aquaman movie. You probably can get away with that doing a Flash movie, another Flash movie. And then you do Justice League 2, which is where you have Darkseid, and that's where you resurrect Superman.
Yeah.
And then you have do that sort of thing where you can sort of see that Superman's not quite himself.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And then, after that, you do Batman vs. Superman.
But the only problem I have with Batman vs. Superman, and that's actually a really good lineup, because it actually makes sense.
Well, you did Batman vs. Superman before Justice League 2.
Yeah.
And you have Batman... You have in the Batman, the second Batman movie, you have him go... You have the end credit scene, you have him realize the Darkseid is coming, and then actively go out and try to resurrect Superman. Yeah. Batman vs. Superman, the first half, it's instead of Batman getting sulky that there's an alien flying around, it's him trying to resurrect Superman. Then you have him resurrect Superman.
But he's not.
You have Superman smack him through a tree or something, fly off and do Black Suit Superman, and that's where you have the mech suit. Because then you have it so that he's been resurrected. And the reason Superman goes after Batman is because he finds out Batman's got a contingency plan for the Justice League.
Yes.
Something from the comics that would make sense. Not Batman.
Here's my only problem with what Warner Brothers have done so far is that they have, and we talked about this the other night, they have a variety of story, characters, villains, all this kind of stuff. They have all this stuff in their arsenal. But they're not using them properly. They changed story, Joker's story was they're giving him tattoos, making him a gangster, making him just act stupid. That, no one recognized that. No one liked that. Batman, everybody, a lot of people were skeptical about Batfleck, but he ended up being something that everybody liked.
Yeah.
Justice League was kind of a hit and miss.
The problem with Justice League was it
didn't feel
the CGI was a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
It was clearly brushed.
Yes.
And, they didn't earn it.
They didn't earn it, and a lot of the movies in there, Batman vs. Superman, there's, in the as you said in yourself, in the comics, there's a build-up to that. They work together. Batman to be fair, Batman doesn't trust anybody on the Justice League, because he's a human. He's a human working with gods, aliens.
Well, the thing is, they did the Justice League the right way in that with Batman, he's a veteran. He's a veteran hero at this point. He's been doing this a long time. So every metahuman or superpowered human that Batman has come into contact with has been a villain.
Yeah.
Bane, and then you've got like all of these people, like Ra's al Ghul's immortal, like every
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc, all of these people who have inherently got superpowers have been bad guys to him. So when these good guys come up and they start showing up with powers, you get like Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman, like these people are showing up with superpowers. Yeah, you're going to mistrust that.
Yeah.
Because everything he's come in contact with so far that's had powers has been trying to kill him or kill everyone else. And it's just horrible people.
Yeah.
So they were right in having a grizzled sort of veteran just like mistrusting Batman.
Yeah.
Right. You have to show why he's mistrusting and he's grizzled. Because people like us who have read the comics are not the only people going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
The people who only really know Batman from like TV and like by reputation and watching like movies and stuff, they're gonna go in there and go, why is he so grumpy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, there's no like you can't, and this is the problem. This is one of the I'm convinced this is one of the reasons that Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola are like being assholes about this.
Yeah.
It's because Marvel built and earned a cinematic universe, and then everyone was like, cinematic universe. And they just tried to rush it because they're trying to get to a universe that is like Marvel's. But Marvel earned theirs. They did Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor, and The Incredible Hulk. Then an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
You don't get to have Superman, Batman versus Superman, Justice League.
No, that's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
You don't get build the team and then you get to the big fight.
Everyone gets a solo movie.
Yeah.
So Superman and Wonder Woman both got solo movies. Batman got a side. Basically, he was Superman's side character.
That's where they went wrong. They made Superman a supporting character. He's not a supporting character. He is the Batman. He needs his own movie.
Yeah, it's just
It's like I'm sure their thing was just like, oh, but everybody has seen a Batman movie before. We need to get these characters. We want to tell these character story. No.
Yeah, we have all seen a Batman movie before, so not making a Batman movie was a mistake.
Yeah. But like, I would like to see them. I hope that they keep. I hope that they keep going with
from what it looks
with the standalone DC films.
Well, what it looks like they're doing at the moment is they're making the solo movies.
Yeah.
But they're not so much interconnected. So like Aquaman, they tried to keep away. They didn't mention the Justice League events at all. They didn't hint at all the other stuff. Shazam, they sort of half mentioned that they were around, but like just really sort of kept it out. The only bit they really kept in was Henry Cavill's Superman, and you don't see his face. You only see the chest.
Yeah.
So like they're sort of like dropping hints here and there that they are still connected, but sort of trying to keep them apart while they fix the movies, which is the way they should be doing it.
Yeah.
But it all really hinges on how well Wonder Woman 2 is received.
Well, no.
I think they're going with Cheetah.
Cheetah?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So far, the only DC movie that I'm really looking forward to right now is probably have to be Birds of Prey. I can't stop watching that trailer. That trailer is just awesome to me.
Is that because Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor and
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, it's a big hit. I think we'll be going for a second half. Yeah, okay. So we've gone for a little while.
Yeah.
We will call it there. And so if you want to read any of our articles and stuff, they are on realtalkpcd.com. You can follow me on Twitter at reviewbylurch.
And you can follow me at JaredKiddo1.
Facebook and Instagram are Real Talk Pop Culture Discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is at real_pop. And as always, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure doing 30 podcasts with you. Keep it real.
And stay sexy. See you in the next one. Bye.